Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, verse number 5. Chapter Yamaraj instructs his messengers. Yadi syur bahavo loke Shastaro dandadharinaha kasya syatam navakasya mrityuschamritameva va. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. If in this universe there are many rulers and justices who disagree about punishment and reward, their contradictory actions will neutralize each other and no one will be punished or rewarded. Otherwise, if their contradictory acts fail to neutralize each other, everyone will have to be both punished and rewarded. Because the Yamadutas had been unsuccessful in carrying out the order of Yamaraj, they doubted whether Yamaraj actually had the power to punish the sinful. Although they had gone to arrest Ajamila following Yamaraj's order, they found themselves unsuccessful because of the order of some higher authority. Therefore, they were unsure of whether there were many authorities or only one. If there were many authorities who gave different judgments which could be contradictory, a person might be wrongly punished or wrongly rewarded, or he might be neither punished nor rewarded. According to our experience in the material world, a person punished in one court may appeal to another. Thus, the same man may be either punished or rewarded according to different judgments. However, in the law of nature or the court of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there cannot be such contradictory judgments. The judges and their judgments must be perfect and free from contradictions. Actually, the position of Yamaraj was very awkward in the case of Ajamila, because the Yamadutas were right in attempting to arrest Ajamila, but the Vishnudutas had baffled them. Although Yamaraj, under these circumstances, was accused by both the Vishnudutas and the Yamadutas, he is perfect in administering justice because he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he will explain what his real position is and how everyone is controlled by the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead. 2 chapters we have completed about this pastime of Ajamila and the Vishnudutas and Yamadutas. Last 2 chapters we saw how Yamadutas, wanting to carry out the orders of their master Yamaraj, had come to arrest Ajamila, who was a very sinful man. We know the list of sinful acts that he had done. But their attempt to arrest Ajamila was foiled because of the Vishnudutas. And there was a dialogue, and the Yamadutas were baffled by what Vishnudutas had said, that you cannot punish him. You have no jurisdiction over him, over his soul. Because he has chanted the holy name of Narayana, so he has become completely free from all offenses that he had committed, and now he cannot be punished. He has been freed from all the sins that he had committed from all his lifetimes in the past. So, Yamadutas had come on the order of their master, Yamaraj. And for the first time, they encountered such a situation. They had never encountered such a situation before, that Yamaraj has ordered them, but their order of his master, their master, has been turned down by another set of personalities. So they were completely baffled. How can someone overrule my master's order? You'll be baffled, right? You go carrying out the order of your master, and then somebody else says something and he says that no, you cannot do this. So you get baffled. So in this chapter, we see Yamadutas in that state of complete confusion have come back to Yamapuri, to the abode of Yamaraj, and they are asking this question. They want to clarify their doubts. They are saying that we thought there was only one master, Yamaraj, and there was no one else. So is there are there some other masters also who are more powerful and superior than you? Then why are we serving you if there's someone more higher? Right? So in the previous verse, it was said, the Yamaduta said, my dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? Because we thought only you are the controller. Now looks like those four personalities are also the controller. So whether you are the controller or they are the controller, or there are many more controllers. So how many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities? Because according to them, Yamadutas, Yamaraj was the only controller, but now here they have realized that they are not the only ones, there is someone else. So Prabhupada writes in this purport that the Yamadutas, because they were unsuccessful in carrying out the orders of Yamaraj, they doubted whether Yamaraj actually had the power to punish the sinful. Although they had gone to arrest Ajamila, following Yamaraj's order, they found themselves unsuccessful because of the order of some higher authority. Therefore, they were unsure of whether there were many authorities or only one. And then Prabhupada further explains, if there are many authorities, which is what it appeared to be, because Vishnudutas were also appearing to be authority, because they stopped them, and Yamaraj is also an authority. So if there are multiple authorities, each giving their own direction and decisions, then there is bound to be contradiction. And if there is bound to be contradiction, it is not sure whether somebody will be rewarded or somebody will be punished, or somebody will be neither rewarded nor punished, or they will be both rewarded and punished. So it's a big state of confusion. So Prabhupada writes, so with this thing in mind, the Yamadutas have gone to Yamaraj, and Yamaraj was accused. He was accused. Imagine the Yamaraj, Dharmaraj, the Mahajana, the 12 great Mahajana, he is being accused. And who is accusing him? His own servants, Yamadutas, and the great devotees, Vishnudutas also. Both are accusing him. Just imagine the position of Yamaraj. Vishnudutas accused him because they came with an order and they said, no, go back, this order cannot be fulfilled. So Vishnudutas accused him. So Vishnudutas are the pure devotees, the pure servants of Lord Vishnu. They are accusing him, and his own servants is accusing him. So you can imagine what is the position of Yamaraj. So this is an interesting point to note, that Yamaraj is being accused both by Vishnudutas and the Yamadutas, by both of them. So this should make us think about the nature of the material world. That a personality so exalted that he is sitting as one of the 12 Mahajanas is being accused. So what to talk of other personalities? So this is the nature of the material world. We should not get disturbed or baffled when somebody accuses us. Because we vary in our career in Krishna consciousness, this is a very common thing we face. Some devotee said something, some person said something, he accused me, but I was right. Here you see Yamaraj is very equipoised. Although he's being accused by both the personalities, he's just equipoised. He's just hearing him. And then finally he will give his arguments. He will respond to them. But he's not baffled or disturbed. You are my servant and you're accusing me. How dare you? Nothing like that. He is equipoised. So we are devotees of the Supreme Lord. In the same way, we should, when some something like this comes upon us, somebody is scolding us, or somebody is accusing us, or somebody is pointing a finger at us, you must remember this is the nature of the material world. Don't try to justify it. It's not that whether you're right or whether you're wrong, or whether you're being rightly accused or wrongly accused. This is natural, because great personalities have also been accused. This is Yamaraj. There are so many examples. Take, for example, Prabhupada writes in one purport, Brahma, the first son of Lord Vishnu, the secondary creator of the material. Brahma is the one who has created this material world. He's not an ordinary personality. Even he was accused. Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada is writing, he's drawing this conclusion. He was accused by whom? The greatest of the devotees, gopis, accused him. What kind of a creator you are? You have created these eyelids. You are an imperfect creator. Because this eyelids that you have created is obstructing our vision to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that moment that our eyelids are blinking and we cannot see Him, we feel terrible. We cannot stand that moment. You are not a perfect creator. And Brahmaji was just equipoised. What to do? That is what that's his thing. Lord Krishna himself was accused for stealing the Shamantika jewel, which he did not steal. And then when that happened, we know the whole story of how the Shamantika jewel was stolen, and then Lord Krishna finally settled the matter. So Brahma, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality himself, everywhere you see, there is no personality, even God has been accused in this material world. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even he was accused. Ramachandra Puri, he accused the Lord for eating too many sweets. Just imagine, what an accusation! Is this something to accuse the Lord of? And Lord was not eating sweets also. He found some ants in the Lord's room, and ants are there everywhere, right? In every house there are ants. So because he found some ants in the Lord's room, he said, "Oh, this sannyasi is pointing out to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu," and he could speak like that because he was the god brother of Ishwarapuri. So he was like on the level of the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Ishwarapuri, and Ramachandra Puri and Ishwarapuri were god brothers. So in that sense, he was like his spiritual master. Of course, he was the critic, but nevertheless, he was like that. And he's accusing you're eating too many sweets. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's response was, oh my God, he's accusing me. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that he's a critic, but look at the way he took the accusation. He did not scold him and he said, how can you accuse me just because you're seeing some ants? It's not because of the sweets that I'm eating, it's because that's how ants are everywhere in the house, and that was the fact. But what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did? He reduced eating. He took that accusation and he reduced his eating. He reduced his eating to half. Imagine if you have to reduce your eating to half just because somebody falsely accusing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is equipoised. And after that, what happened after that? So he reduced his eating to half. So Ramachandra Puri, because his nature was to accuse, so he goes and meets the Lord, and then he says, oh, you have reduced your eating to half. This is false renunciation. Again accused. Not eating sweets, accusing that you're eating sweets, accused. And when he reduced his eating, you're falsely reducing. This is dry renunciation. There also accusation. So this is the nature of the material world. We should understand, in fact, these things should make us realize if God is being accused for doing this or that, who are we? And we are all conditioned souls. We should not get disturbed when somebody accuses us or when somebody says something or when some misunderstanding, because this is the nature. Material world is arranged like this. This is not a place, because if everything is very nice here, then we'll make nice plans to stay here, be happy. The material nature is so designed that we go through all these problems. Adhyatmik klesha, adi daivi klesha, adi bhautik klesha. Adi bhautik, this is miseries caused by other living entities. But so what is the instruction? So whenever these things come across us, we should pause for a moment and try to recollect what the Shastras are saying. How the great personalities have conducted themselves in the past and act as per that direction. We should not act instantaneously, spontaneously with whatever comes out of our mind. This is how generally we respond. We don't respond, we react to situations in this material world. But as devotees, we should not just react, we should respond. Respond means think for a moment. How Lord Krishna handled this matter, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu handled this matter, how Brahma handled this matter, how great devotees are. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was also so much accused. He is a pure devotee, best of the five Pandavas. His own brothers were accusing him for the decisions that he was taking. Other kings were accusing him, but he was equipoised. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is Trinadapi Shunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was following. Amanina Manadena. He was giving Manadena to Ramachandra Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only gave this verse, he actually followed this verse in letter and spirit. If you see his instructions, if you see his lifestyle. And Krishna has also told us in the Bhagavad Gita, just tolerate it, because these are all temporary things. If we become too entangled in all these things, he said this, he said that, it should not be like that, then where we will get the time to peacefully chant Hare Krishna, to become humble? And these are opportunities that we face to show whether some humility is setting in us or not. If we also get agitated, that means no humility, because this is how we have to respond. Amanina manadena. Somebody accused, yes, it was my mistake. You should take it like that, because finally Krishna knows, the spiritual master knows the facts of the matter. So Yamaraj, he has also been accused like this, but Yamaraj is equipoised. And now in the next few verses, we will see how Yamaraj responds to the questions given, asked by the Yamadutas. So here in this purport, towards the end, Prabhupada is giving. Prabhupada is writing that this is a question that has been asked by the Yamadutas. Are you the supreme controller, or there is someone else more supreme than you? And Prabhupada writes towards the end of the purport that Yamaraj will explain what his real position is and how everyone is controlled by the supreme controller, the personality of Godhead. So this will clear the doubt of the Yamadutas, that Yamadutas were thinking, I am the controller. Yamaraj is saying that I am the controller, but no, I am the controller. Not that I am not the controller, but the supreme controller is Krishna. And when somebody has surrendered to the supreme controller, then he becomes free from the control of all other individual controllers. So whether we want to be surrendered to the supreme controller and agree to be controlled by him, or we want to be controlled in the material world, what is there? Each one is being controlled by so many different people. So Prabhupada explains this word nicely, controller. What is a controller? The Sanskrit meaning of the word controller means Ishvara. Ishvara means controller. But there is an Ishvara and there is a Parama Ishvara. Ishvara means controller. So we are all controllers. We are controlling someone. A father is controlling his family, but he's being controlled by his boss. His boss is being controlled by his boss. Teachers are being controlled by teachers are controlling the children, but the teacher is being controlled by the principal. Principal is being controlled by. So everyone in this material world is being controlled by somebody or the other. So one point that comes out of this is we can never be free from being controlled. We may take the pride that I am controlling. We all like to control, right? We all like to control something or someone, and that's our ego. But we cannot deny that although I'm controlling somebody and I'm enjoying that, I am also being controlled by someone. I am not free from that control. At least I'm being controlled by my mind and my senses, which is the biggest enemy. I'm not free from the control of my mind and senses. I'm acting freely based on what my mind and senses are demanding. So the topmost controller is Krishna. So Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the original cause of all other causes. And this topmost controller is a personality. Satchidananda Vigraha. I'm not so the highest controller in this creation is not someone impersonal. He is a personality, and he is not an ordinary personality. He is Sat Chit Ananda. He's full of knowledge, full of bliss, and he's eternal. He is not temporary. Such a personality is the supreme controller, and if I can surrender to him, I will also be very happy. So this controller, Krishna, is a person, and following his orders, this is what Yamaraj will say. Yes, I gave you some orders, but there is now a higher order, because he was a devotee. You went to a devotee. So following the orders of the supreme controller is the highest dharma. So dharma means following the orders of the supreme controller. That is dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma means following the Bhagavat Pranitam, the laws of the supreme controller. And our happiness lies in that, being controlled by the laws of the supreme controller. If you are not being controlled by the laws of the supreme controller, you will be forced to be controlled by someone in this material world, and we will be unhappy, like what it is now. I will read this one small passage. Prabhupada has very nicely written what our position is and what we should be doing. This he gave in a lecture in 1975. We have to be controlled. Our position is such that we cannot become controller. It is not possible. If we want to become controller, that is my artificial desire. See? And the resultant action will be we have to suffer. So first of all, you must understand this, that we are controlled. Either you agree to be controlled by Krishna or you agree to be controlled by Maya, but you cannot become controller. Is there anyone here who can say that I am the controller? Is there anyone who will answer this? So I may think that I am controller, but I am controlled by drugs, by sense gratification, by desires, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya. So there is no question of the living entity being independent. That is not possible. He is dependent. But if he becomes dependent on Krishna, then his life is successful. Exactly the position, the dog's position. The dog is loitering without being controlled by somebody, and he's seeking, somebody may control me, somebody please control me. He's looking for a master. He's seeking that control of the master. He's seeking position. But if he does not get anybody to control him, his life is very precarious. He is not happy. Therefore, if you want to be happy, then we must return to our original position, to be controlled by Krishna. That is perfection of life. So if you want to be happy, then we must return to our original position, to be controlled by Krishna. That is perfection of life. So our original position is this, to be controlled by Krishna. If we are not controlled by Krishna, we will be controlled by our whims and fancies. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, a person does not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. A conditioned soul, he doesn't know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Nothing is known to him, because his position is to just follow the orders of the Krishna, of Krishna. That is what Yamaraj will explain. Our duty is to follow. I am also following the orders of Krishna, because Krishna has told me if somebody is a sinful man, you must punish him. But he was not a sinful man. He chanted the holy name of Narayana. So you have to now follow the order of Krishna. That is real dharma. It was already there, but the Yamadutas were not knowing it. So the best example of one who surrendered to be controlled by Krishna, and finally he was very happy, is Arjuna. Arjuna, he was completely confused, perplexed, what his duty is, what he should do, what he should not do. And he said, Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am surrendering to you. Now you please instruct me. You are the Ishvara. Adidev, you are the origin of everyone. You are the greatest personality. Krishna also said, Mattha parataram nanyat. He is the ultimate control. I am surrendering to you. You please instruct me. So we just have to learn to agree to surrender to Krishna and Krishna's devotees. He is the Ishvara Parama. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno. Yoga Ishvara, the same word. Ishvara means controller. Yoga Ishvara, he's a master of all mysticism. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. This is Sanjaya's understanding. That if there is that supreme controller Krishna and his devotee, wherever they are, then there is definitely Shri, there'll be opulence, Vijayo, there'll be victory, Bhuti, there'll be extraordinary power, and Niti, Niti means there will be morality. Look at the wonderful values. And Dhruva, Dhruva means there's no doubt about it. There will certainly be these wonderful values and virtues in life. So you see, just so we have the supreme controller with us, we just have to surrender to him. And surrendering to him has been made so easy by Srila Prabhupada. So this is how we understand that God is the supreme controller. He is great. In one place, Prabhupada explained that we all talk about God is great. He is the supreme controller. But people do not understand his greatness, what kind of a controller he is, and how happy we should be to surrender to this controller. We are generally very happy to surrender to some great personality, right? We want to work in a big company or work for a big person, work for the prime minister, like that, I'm working for the prime minister, I'm working in. So it's a nature to surrender to, because you cannot live without surrender. So it's a nature. So if we can understand the greatness of God, he's not an ordinary controller, he's not an ordinary personality, he's a very great personality. His powers are unfathomable. No one can surpass God. That's why he's called unsurpassable. Like you see Hanumanji, he just chanted Jai Shri Ram and crossed the whole ocean. Look at the power of God's holy name. One holy name. So if God's holy name has got this much power, how much power God will have? Or at least equal. Just Jai Shri Ram and crossed over. My God. And I'm freely, this Jai Shri Ram is available to all of us. I can be chanting not once, but I can be chanting whole day, 24 hours. How much power I will have, because I'll get connected to the Supreme Controller. In every pastime of Krishna, that's why Krishna comes and performs this great, wonderful Leelas. Urukrama, he is known as Urukrama, one who performs great pastimes. Why? Because he wants to tell the living entities, I am not an ordinary person. I am Bhutanam Ishwaropi San, I am the supreme controller, and I am proving that I am the supreme controller by my Leelas. People don't believe in the Leela, that is the problem. Because they think this is all some, some stories. Because people cannot, in our tiny minds, we cannot conceive the greatness of God. Because obviously with this material senses, we cannot conceive how great God is. You only have to accept them. If an ordinary magician performs some magic, we are bewildered. So imagine what kind of magic God will perform. That's why Prabhupada says God will perform godly magic. He will not perform ordinary things. So many examples are there to understand God's greatness. The stones were floating, the same pastime of Ramayana. Stones were floating. Now, to us, how is it that the stones can float? This is all story. But no, God is the one who has made all laws. So at that point of time, Lord said, law of gravitation shall not exist here. That's all. Law of gravitation was not existing there. And he made a new law. Prabhupada says like this. He can stop any law. He can nullify any law. He can create any law. Just like you see the government. Today the government will declare, okay, this law has been, we are done away with this, one new law government has made. Isn't it? Government makes a new law. And he says this old law from today, this ceases to exist. And we are, okay, yes, government says this law, new income tax rules have come. The old rule is gone, some new rule has come. So similarly, we know the law of gravitation, but who has made the law? Krishna has made the law. Lord Ramachandra has made the law. He said, okay, now for the time being, because I want some seva of these squirrels and the monkeys, this law will not exist. This new law will come. New law is this. See, this is the greatness of God. This is the supreme controller. And so when we read these pastimes, we should believe in them with faith and we should marvel at God's greatness. My God, this God, and I am serving this God, I am going to this God's abode. I am chanting this personality's name. Oh my God, how fortunate I am. We talk so much about the scientists, this scientific discovery, this IT technology, and people are, oh, we have advanced so much, right? And Einstein, all the great scientists, all due respect to them. So, who has made this possible? It is that personality who discovered all these wonderful new things. So, we are all praising a person. Praising a person means praising his intellect, praising his brain, this brain. So, we should think, imagine if this brain is so powerful of these personalities of these scientists and all these whoever have made this wonderful discovery. Imagine the brain of the person who manufactured not one brain like this, but so many brains like this. How great he will be. We are praising one Einstein, one Newton, and one Nobel laureate. But who has made them? Can we manufacture a brain in the factory? We cannot. And who has manufactured 7 billion brains? And this is just one small planet Earth. The Brahmastra, the nuclear weapon. We are so proud, but we have created the nuclear weapon. Of course, that is also all in the wrong direction. Our energy. People are dying and we have manufactured something where we can fasten the death. So it's not some great discovery. But still, they have made this as the great discovery, the nuclear weapon. Now, God's weapon, God has created Brahmastra. And it is said that when the Brahmastra was fired during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a nuclear weapon can destroy at most one planet. A Brahmastra is so powerful, it can destroy the entire universe. And it is said that when Ashwathama released the Brahmastra, it is said that the heat was felt by all the upper planetary systems. The entire universe felt the heat when Ashwathama had released the Brahmastra. See, this is just Brahma's weapon, not even Krishna's weapon. So how God is great here? When Ashwathama had released that Brahmastra in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned how Krishna counteracted the Brahmastra. Imagine if a Brahmastra is an atomic, and Brahmastra is no comparison to the atomic weapon, and we know what the atomic weapon is. That itself is a huge thing for anyone here. Today, the whole world is afraid that if a war again happens, it should not be an atomic war because the earth will be finished. We are so worried. So we can imagine how dangerous it is. And Brahmastra, which is many, many times more dangerous, how Krishna counteracted, it is said, just like the sun will evaporate one small dew drop. Does it take any effort for the sun to evaporate one small dew drop? No effort, right? Effortless. In the same way, Krishna, like the sun, nullified the Brahmastra of Ashwathama as if it was one small dew drop. This is the greatness of Krishna. He is Ishvara Paramaha, Sarva Karana Karanam. And we are so blessed that we are serving this personality, this wonderful personality, not any ordinary personality. So we should always remember, we are very fortunate, we are very, very blessed that Prabhupada has explained these things so well. The greatest personality who is very difficult to be known, who after many, many millions of births of finding him, also the great yogis are unable to know him, unable to find him, unable to understand him. Understanding Krishna is not so easy. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Very difficult to find a person who is understanding Krishna and surrendering to Krishna. Very, very difficult. Understanding Krishna is not so easy. But this Krishna, the supreme controller, the performer of wonderful pastimes and Herculean tasks, has been explained so easily, so nicely by Srila Prabhupada. And we are so blessed, we are his disciples. So with all eagerness, with all enthusiasm, we must serve Krishna, and serving Krishna by serving his pure devotees. So when we do like this, then very easily we will understand him, and it will not at all be difficult to go back to that supreme abode by practicing the devotional service or by following what he has told and by serving the pure devotees. We must always remember we are in a very, very fortunate position. We are serving that great controller. He's not an ordinary person. Nobody has an opportunity to serve him. We have got that opportunity. So with all humility, taking on all acquisitions or whatever come, being very, in a very humble mood, we should continue, we should go on executing devotional service. That is how we will be successful in our spiritual life. So these are some of the points here. We will end here. Grantara Srimad-Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.